Hi, I'm glad to be here. I want to thank Pastor Meredith again for allowing me to come here and speak to you about my story, my call story. I love the title or the theme that she has, Hearing the Call from Reading Rights to Proclaiming Grace. That fits because I actually spent 25 years of my life in law enforcement in the city of Milwaukee. I retired in 2008, I think, and I thought, now keep in mind, God has a sense of humor. I thought I was going to be retired, up at the lake, kicking back, on a rocker, listening to the loons. Well, God had different plans for me. So I had a career in law enforcement. I started at a young age, and I thought my life was going to be a certain way. I thought I was going to enjoy retirement the way I thought I was going to enjoy it. But God has a sense of humor. So in 2001, I met my wife, Shelley. And after I met my wife, Shelley, we actually were able to adopt twin 2-year-old boys. When we first got them, they were 3 months old, and now they're 12. That's why the gray hair. They were here last night, so they were here supporting me last night, so getting up this early is not cool for them. They're 12. So I meet Shelley. We're looking for a church, and some friends of ours said, hey, come to St. Stephen the Martyr in Greendale. We lived on the south side, so we did. They were very welcoming there, just like all you are. This is great. I had a young girl, I think she said she was 5, draw me a picture this morning. So that's pretty cool. And I love the fact that you read the gospel today. Kids have such an impact, and I'm going to tell you how much of an impact kids had on my life. So I go to St. Stephen the Martyr. We have these young boys at the time, toddlers, and I'm retired. So I see in the bulletin that they're looking for a youth and family person. Why would I think about doing this in my late 40s? Why would I want to hang out with the youth? So I just kind of push it off to the side. I see it again, and I see it again, and it keeps me intrigued. But I thought, no, I'm too old for this. I get a call from a council member and said, hey, your name came up regarding the youth and family position. I'm like, what? You only have to spend an hour a month. Right. It's only an hour a month. You just have to go to the council meetings. Council meetings alone are more than an hour just to keep you, right? Am I right? Or yeah. So, what was that? You're like, you're in the sanctuary. So anyways, now get my train of thought back. I get involved with the youth, and they have a trip planned to Imago Dei, Crossways Camp, up in northern Wisconsin. I thought, well, I got to get to know the youth, so I'm going to go, and Shelley had to work. My wife is currently a lieutenant in the Milwaukee Police Department, and so she had to work, and so I took our young boys up to camp with the youth. Something happened within that week. I don't know what it was. It wasn't one thing, it wasn't one person, but it's the youth. So be who you are, you will change people's lives. Okay? So anyways, so I come home, I have the boys in their car seats in the back, I pull up in the driveway, Shelley sees me, she goes, I didn't even get out of the car now. You changed. I said, what? She goes, no, for the good, you changed. And I said, we need to talk. So after talking with Shelley, we decided I'd go to the Diaconia program, a 2-year program through the Greater Milwaukee Synod. But I wanted more. So the Youth and Family Certification School came about. That's where I met Amanda. Are you here, Amanda, somewhere? No? Okay. So, she's at 10:30? All right. That's where I met Amanda and asked her about the alarm clock thing. She'll tell you the story. Anyways, so that's where I met Amanda. But I got involved in the youth. I ended up going to the young adult mission trip, which I know some of you young adults, I spent time with you. down in New Orleans. And I was worried about our church when I went down there. But spending time with those young adults, there's no reason to worry about our church. They love Jesus just as much as every single one of us do. So anyway, so we come back. I want more. I can't get enough. And I go to my pastor at the time, Pastor Gail Broderson Hines, and I said, seminary doesn't allow anybody to go to seminary unless you have a 4-year degree. And she said, what's stopping you? So be careful if you talk to Pastor Meredith about that. You never know what they're going to say. So I end up going back to school, and a friend of mine and I are sitting at UWM in the little cafe area, and we're complaining about the amount of extra classes we have to take. And we're saying it's all about the money and everything. And so I get home, and I see the bill for my school loans on the table, and I open it up. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is way too expensive. I have several years left. I can't do this to my family. And Shelley tells me, you told me that Wartburg sometimes they allow people to come in without a 4-year degree. They base it on a case-by-case basis. She says, call them. So I did, and they say, yes, we do, but you have to apply for candidacy first. I said, okay. Well, so now that door is open, but I don't apply for candidacy. I'm dragging my feet. Jesus told Peter to get behind him. Well, I was behind him kicking and screaming. So now Wartburg allows that. They created a distributive learning program where I could do it long distance because I can't commute. I have young children, and I have a wife that's working full time. I can't move. I can't commute. So that opened up. Then they also allow same-gendered relationships to get involved in becoming a pastor. So that opened up. What's stopping me, right? Well, I was stopping me. So one day, I didn't know what to do. I worked at St. Stephen the Martyr, so I was on a little bit of a vacation, and I dropped the kids off at school. And God and I are having a conversation. I'm actually doing this out loud. God, what do you want me to do? There's Facebook, there's social media. Text me something, please. Let me know. I need something. And I kid you not, within 60 seconds, my phone vibrates, and it shows I have a notification on Facebook. And it says, a little birdie told me you're interested in the distributive learning program at Wartburg Seminary. If you have any questions, call me. Now, keep in mind, this person that sent me this message, I met her twice. She wasn't a friend of mine on Facebook. So be careful what you ask for. You'll get the answer. So I called Shelley up, and I told her what happened, and I said, I know what I'm doing when I get home. And that day I applied for candidacy. I didn't need any more. I didn't need to get hit with a book. I got hit with a text message. So now I'm in seminary, and it's a great place to be. I love seminary. It's awesome. And so now I'm in the car wash at Quick Trip. And I'm talking to Shelley about how much seminary is costing. And this is getting too much. It's costing us too much. We still have more loans. I don't want to put my family in a financial bind. And she said, we'll figure it out. Well, as I'm talking to her and I'm pulling out of the car wash, I get a phone call from Dubuque. And I thought, oh no, I forgot to turn in a paper. But it wasn't that. And so I hang up with Shelley and I take the call, and it was the admissions person. And she goes, Char, sit down. Are you sitting? I said, yeah, I'm sitting. She goes, you got the leadership scholarship. And I said, I what? She said, you have received the leadership scholarship from the ELCA. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? You no longer have to pay tuition. Everything I tried to do to stop me from going to seminary, I tell you, it's just simply amazing. So, it brought tears to my eyes. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So I called Shelley, said, we don't have to worry about it. I just got a scholarship. And she said the same thing that I did. What? What does that mean? And mind you, I actually applied the day it was due because I didn't think it would be worth filling out. But anyway, so that happened. Now, as I look back in my life, I could start back when I was born in 1964, but we don't have that much time. God has been working through me and showing me things throughout my life. God has been calling me. Even though I walked away from the church for quite a while, the call was there. I just wasn't listening and hearing it and seeing it. In high school, I could not stand up in front of a group of 2 without getting physically ill. And here I stand today, standing in front of all of you. Law enforcement had something to do with it. It taught me how to talk to people. It taught me how to talk to groups of people. When I became a dispatcher, I was talking to hundreds of people. It might have been behind a radio, but I was still talking to people. Then I ended up instructing the department from the chief on down. So it was working. It was working. I just didn't know what was working until later on. So I was asked to pick a reading for today, and I picked today's gospel. Because sometimes when we are told in this gospel that we're going to lose our life, it's a scary thing when we want to follow Jesus, when we feel that call to follow Jesus. It's scary. But I have never been so blessed in my life. Yes, it's difficult. Seminary is not easy. But the blessing, the people I get to meet you today. It's a blessing. So if you hear that nudge, you see that ad in the bulletin or newsletter or whatever it is you have, you hear in those announcements, we're looking for somebody, and you feel that call. Why am I interested in this? Take it a step further. You never know where you're going to end up. It's a blessing. So when the gospel says if you follow Jesus, you will lose your life, I lost the life that I thought I was going to live. I'm actually living a better one. Thanks be to God.